All right, all right. I'm just so sick of hearing it. I'm sorry. I just can't take it anymore. I am so sick of hearing right wing extremism is the worst thing in the world. Conservatives are evil rednecks trying to kill us all. And but then again, they're so stupid they can't do anything. Yes, okay. Look, right wing extremism is terrible. It is. It is one of the darker things in the world, trying to force a fascist government, and that is terrible. Don't get me wrong, that is terrible, terrible. But then again, if you bring up left-wing extremism, they just act like it's nothing at all. Like they don't even realize that left-wing extremism terrorized America a lot more than right-wing extremism did. I mean, which one of them came closer to destroying us? I mean, Nazi Germany, yeah, they were, pretty up there, but look at Soviet Russia. Yes, they were left-wing extremists, okay? That's what they were doing. They were trying to force their liberal values on America. I was with this conversation on Sodahead, and, usually I know how mean and stone-headed liberals are, but I mean, I just suck it up, I bite my lip, I shut up, I accept them for who they are, I accept the fact that they hate me just because of my political stance, and I know that there are just people just like that on my side too, and I really can't stand them either. But it got to me. I couldn't stand it. He got his friends to come and try. Well, I guess it was a she. But she got her friends to come and try to prove me wrong. It got so ridiculous. I'm sorry. I just can't tolerate liberals anymore. I really tried. I tried my very best, but I just cannot tolerate them anymore. And I'm sorry. I really am. Okay, for everyone who's a liberal that isn't trying to give me a hard time. They're not trying to be my enemy. They just have those views. Okay, I don't hate you. I don't have anything against you. I don't have anything against liberalism. But stone-headed liberals just they just put a bad taste in my mouth. I can't stand them anymore. I just can't. And I'm going to explain why they're wrong. And I don't mean wrong as in like their view on something like abortion. That's opinionated. I mean their view on conservatives and liberals. All right, here's the thing. You say Republicans are evil and Democrats are Jesus. That's not true. Okay? You say conservatism is supposed to stand for morals and values, yet they're so corrupt, and liberals are just so, let's save the world. Oh, yeah, peace, harmony, liberalism. Well, and look, yes, and that's what makes conservative and liberalism, they're both good concepts. One, you follow morals and values, and the other one, you try to be open-minded and accept everyone for who they are. And neither one of them is wrong. They're both great concepts. But I know modern-day conservatives have drifted really far away from the actual idea of conservatism. But modern-day liberals have done the same exact thing. Okay? Yes, Republican politicians are corrupt. I agree. They give the party a very bad name, which the party itself isn't bad, but just about everyone a part of it is. But you can't just say that Republicans are evil, the devil, and Democrats are just great and accepting towards everyone. That's a full-up lie. Not the first part, but the second part. Republican politicians are corrupt and terrible. But Democratic politicians aren't any better at all. The Democrats are just as corrupt as the Republicans are. And if not, they're more now because there's so many Democrats in power right now that you could really blame most of the problems on them. And at the same time, you can blame the problems that cause these problems on the Republicans. Look, no one in power today is doing it for the people. They're doing it for the advantages they get. Okay, it doesn't matter if you're a Republican or a Democrat. Most of the time, it really doesn't matter. Most of the time, the politician is just going to be looking out what's for them. That's all there is to it. It doesn't matter what party they are. I mean, that may represent what they view a little bit more, but it really doesn't matter. I mean, they're still only looking out for the, trying to get more money and, taking bribes and things like that. It doesn't matter what party you are. I mean, there are some good politicians from both parties. that aren't corrupt. But I mean, as the majority, you can't just say Republicans are evil and Democrats are evil. Or, you have to say politicians are evil. Because they're both just terrible. And I mean, I'm not going to speak out against the government. This is just a well-known fact that the government is just corrupt today. Now, I'm not going to try to overthrow them because I don't have that much of a problem with them. It doesn't impact me that much. It's just the government is just it's just a corrupt system, all right? And there isn't really going to be anyone to fix it. Obama is not Jesus. I'll give it to this. Obama is trying, and I respect him for that. He's trying to pull us out of the hole, but he just can't do it. He's trying his very hardest, and it's just not working. Another thing is Obama doesn't exactly know what to do. You really can't blame him for that. So, and McCain wouldn't have been that much better of a pick. I think McCain would have done a little bit better, but not by much. Just a little bit. Because he had more experience. But there's not much he could do anyway. But I mean, that's the point. You have corrupt politicians, and you have... That's basically it. Because you know what? You can be a good person going into politics, but I guarantee you'll be a corrupt person after it. There are no good politicians. I mean, sure you had people like Abraham Lincoln and George Washington, but at that time there really was nothing to gain being president, so you might as well do it for the people. And that's the whole reason you want to be president. But and about extremism is that forcing fascism is terrible, but forcing communism is just as bad. You can't say that right-wing extremism is terrible and left-wing extremism is okay. It just doesn't work that way. And this came from the fact that I was telling her that not all conservatives are bad, and she's like, yeah, I know that I'm not saying that all conservatives are bad, but the vast majority of them are, and there are definitely a lot more conservatives that are bad than liberals. No, I could just as easily say not all liberals are bad, but the vast majority of them are. And it's all opinionated, but the fact is, they are all bad. I mean, you can have your opinion, a biased opinion. I mean, of course, if there's two corrupt politicians, I'll vote for the Republican, even though I don't want him or her. If, I'll be a little biased towards him or her, but I mean, they're probably not any better than the other one. I mean, if there's really is a truly good at heart Democrat, I'll vote for him or her. And I know, the thing about Republicans is, another reason they get a lot of beef, and is just that Republicans claim to be for morality and values and more for the law, and Democrats don't really claim to do that. So I mean, when Republicans don't follow through, they can get blamed a lot more than Democrats, because Democrats never really promised that. And another thing is that, yeah, I know that there are a lot of liberal hippies that are about preaching peace and love and don't hate. But conservatives don't preach the opposite, and Democrats don't preach that either. They're just in it for their own personal gain, unfortunately. But, I mean, it's just, this got into the fact of saying it's like, Islamic terrorism is considered left-wing extremism, yet he was saying it's right-wing extremism because they follow through with the religion. But they have such a liberal government type that they're trying to force on us that it's liberal extremism, left-wing extremism. And, yeah, at the same time, you could interpret it as fascist, but it's not really that much. But it's just the fact is that they're just trying to blame every little thing on right-wingers and saying that left-wingers are the heroes trying to stop them. And that's really not true. For one thing, even though conservatives do follow along with their morals and religion, a conservative probably wouldn't have that moral of killing people for your religion. I mean, I don't know. That just doesn't really. I mean, at least an American conservative wouldn't. I mean, American conservatism is a lot different. So I mean. Because, I mean, in other countries, conservatism is blue, and our conservatism is red, so, I don't know. It's still red versus blue. But I mean, it's just, and this kind of cracked me up a little bit. Just here, he said, I was like, oh, it's like, oh, that's a lie. Conservatives don't hate terrorists more than Democrats do, or liberals do. Liberals hate them just as much, but they're more accepting towards them. How do you hate them just as much, yet you're accepting towards them? That doesn't make even the slightest bit of sense. Okay? And conservatives don't discriminate people. They just don't give them special rights for being different. That's basically like saying, that's basically like just saying hi, instead of saying, hi, you're different. It's like, you know what, you're different. And just because you're different, I think you're inferior, so I'm going to help you out. Now that was biased. I admit it. But this has gone. Look, here's just the point, all right? Don't say that's like conservatives just evil and the right wing extremism